All right, this reading is for Aquarius for the second half of April. Let's see what's going on with the Aquarius. Jesse, could I have you do clarifiers for the obstacle and resolution?
For the obstacle and resolution, correct? Okay.
All right, Aquarius, for your problem, I have the Eight of Swords, which is super interesting because this was the clarifier we just pulled for Capricorn. Obstacle, I have, the Chariot and Two of Swords. And then for resolution, I have Unity. Lots of cards that we haven't seen in a while, Jesse. Um,
Hmm.
did you happen to pull your clarifiers yet for
Pulled for the obstacle, the Five of Cups, and for the resolution, Seven of Cups.
All right. So, Aquarius, we got some really. You got two major arcana cards. So, I think there's um, a lot going on for you, and with the Unity card and your outcome, which is this very beautiful, colorful card. I think this is a very positive
Mm-hmm.
reading. Interestingly, you and Capricorn both um, had this Eight of Swords in the problem position, which represents suppressing a part of yourself unnecessarily. And the other interesting thing about that is unity. This unity card, one of the meanings can mean being free to express yourself fully. So when I see both of those on either ends, and then in the middle here, the Chariot and the Two of Swords, the Chariot can have, for me, it represents periods in my life where I've really had to muster just all the strength that I have and just have hope. As crazy, even if the situation seemed hopeless, overcome that kind of negativity and be positive. And Two of Swords can represent those situations that seem just impossible to resolve. You're kind of in this situation where you're just like, how did I get here? That's kind of what Two of Swords can represent. And when I see it with the Chariot, it tells me that you actually can overcome this. It seems, might seem just like an insane, it literally can mean an insane situation. But if you use logic, it can also represent using logic instead of just emotions to overcome a situation. You can reach a very beautiful resolution. And unity, I will say, can also represent working with networks, getting support. So that could also be part of how you solve this problem. Um, Jesse, your cards.
It's
Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting because I had the Five of Cups in the obstacle as well.
right.
So it feels like this is often a card that looks very like
Mm-hmm.
despairing and kind of traumatic. It's typically a card associated with like bereavement. And because cups are so emotional, usually relationship based. So but again, it's one of those things that's kind of like be reflective, know that this is a part of the journey, especially with the Two of Swords and the Chariot, like that you
Mm-hmm.
have in the obstacle is like maybe a fear of like what this could mean, and maybe this is an because it is obstacle, like fear of like I might lose something with whatever I'm doing and I don't maybe want to do it because of that.
Mm.
But you have to know that like the Chariot does mean change, and that's okay. And yes, there is that risk of it, but if you look in my deck, there is a phase where you'll see all of these things that are spilled. You'll see this loss, but then right behind you there is something new and something good.
Yeah.
And especially because my clarifying card, you said unity for you in resolution. My clarifying card is the Seven of Cups, which is imagination,
Mm-hmm.
new things, and bringing that into the fold. And um, don't be afraid that, like, you're imagining all these things that could happen. Just don't be afraid of that, that 5 of Cups. Don't be afraid that that might be a possibility, because you could have that creativity, that new kind of fun thing coming around the corner, that will
Yes.
bring you inspiration and purpose. And again, the unity bringing you closer to others and feeling fulfilled.
Yeah, and I forgot that your clarifiers were cups. So this could be a relationship
Mm-hmm.
reading for some of you. And if it is, what I would say is I'm getting a sense, this suppressing yourself, a sense that you might be afraid to be vulnerable right now about whatever something.
Mm.
We all have things that we
Mm-hmm.
think are just this big deal that we cannot share with our partner or share with our loved ones.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
like Jesse's
Mm-hmm.
saying, you have this fear that you might end up losing maybe this person that you care about if you're open with them. But
Mm-hmm.
actually, there's a lot of brightness there. And, when you're open with
Mm-hmm.
people and vulnerable, that's how you build relationships. And I know for me, if I share
Mm-hmm.
something about myself that's very vulnerable and then my friend or partner does not reciprocate, it's hard for me to feel
Mm-hmm.
like, can I actually have a relationship with this person if they're not willing to be vulnerable the same way I am? So to me, this is saying,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you are in a situation where either you don't feel safe to be vulnerable, that's something to consider. Um, and if this does feel like a situation where you can be safe, then that's a very positive thing. Sharing and
Mm-hmm.
being emotionally available is a good
Yeah.
thing, as scary as it can be.
Yes, for sure.